I'm predicting Liverpool are going to win the league this year. Is what probably a lot of delusional Liverpool fans would say, but it's not happening. But today we will be predicting the league table of the 23-24 Premier League season. So on screen we have all the categories: relegation, 17th, 14th to 16th, 11th to 13th, 8th to 10th, Conference League, Europa League, Champions League, and then the Champions. And then at the bottom of the screen we have all the club badges. So starting off with 20th, who I think are going to finish rock bottom, is going to be Luton Town, and genuinely I think most people will predict this. The reason I'm going Luton, and genuinely I think they might be one of the worst teams to ever be in the Premier League, is because their squad just won't be able to handle it. Look at their transfers. They've lost quite a few players, but they've also brought in quite a lot. Most of the players they signed are players you expect them to sign in the Championship, not in the Premier League. Yes, they've signed Chong from Birmingham, who was at Man United, and Giles from Wolves, but it's not good enough. And for that reason, I think they will finish rock bottom. The only thing going for them is possibly their home record could keep them up, but I don't think they have a chance. So with Luton sitting rock bottom, I think 19th place goes to Sheffield United. Again, just like Luton, I don't think they have the squad for the Premier League. They've not really made any crazy signings, and it also looks like Sander Berge is going to Burnley, who is one of their best players. I don't think it would be like how they were a few seasons ago where they was just staying in the Premier League. I don't think they have much hope. Again, just like Luton, I think their only chance of staying up is their home record. Which brings me to the last relegation team, joining Sheffield United and Luton. I think it is going to be Wolves. Wolves have had a very good run in the Premier League, but it looks like it's got to a point and it's all falling apart. The reason everything's fallen apart is literally a few days before the season started, they have parted ways with their manager. That's not a good start. On top of that, they have lost two of their best players, with Jimenez going to Fulham, and then Ruben Neves going to the Saudi League. And then the signings they've made are Doherty, which I don't think he's good enough for the Premier League anymore, and then Traore from Metz, which again, I don't think he's going to be a player that keeps him in it. They also looked ropey quite a few times last season, so I think out of all the teams, they're probably going to get relegated. So my bottom three is Wolves, Sheffield United and Luton. But finishing just above them will be Everton in 17th, I reckon. They have been flirting with relegations for a few seasons now. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the rest of the teams because the only thing we really care about is relegation and then Conference League and above. Just like the past few seasons, they've not made any signings that make you think, oh, that player is going to keep them out of relegation. They're just the same old Everton. But Sean Dyche is a quality manager, so I think once again he's going to stop them from getting relegated. And then just above Everton, we are going to go Nottingham Forest, who again I don't think are an amazing club, but I think they're going to be better than them lot. And then just above Forest, I have gone with West Ham. A few days ago, I would have put West Ham maybe in the relegation zone. That is mainly because they were the only club that hadn't signed a single player, and obviously they lost Declan Rice. But then today, they have agreed terms to sign Maguire, and it looks like they're also signed James Ward-Prowse. So it looks like they will have the players to keep them in the league. And then the final team to join them is Bournemouth. I don't think they're going to be as good as they were on the back end of last season. But then again, I don't really think they'll get relegated. On to 13th, we have got Brentford. Again, Brentford have just become that team that will get some results, but they're not going to do anything amazing, and they probably won't get relegated. Then joining them are Palace. Again, a lot of people think Palace might go down, but if Elise stays and obviously recovers fine from his injury, and on top of that, Eze, players like that, they will be fine. And then the final Championship club that got promoted this year, Burnley, I think they're going to do very well this season. Obviously, mid-table for them is very good, just coming back into the Premier League, but I think Vincent Kompany is building a very good team. But now we get into the top half of the table. At 10th, you've got Fulham, but for some reason, there's no Fulham badge. So let's just pretend that Fulham are there. A lot of people probably have Brighton higher, but with the likes of Caicedo and Alexis McAllister leaving, and on top of that, obviously they are in the Europa League, I think it will take a toll on them. I don't think they'll do bad, but I don't think they'll do as well as last season. And then finishing just above them is Aston Villa. It wouldn't surprise me if a lot of you would say they should be the other way around with Brighton finishing above them. But for me, Aston Villa have made good signings. With the likes of Pau Torres, one of La Liga's best centre-backs last season, and Moussa Diaby join them, I think they've started building a very solid squad. And although they've got the Conference League, I don't think it would take as much toll on them because they've got them good players. On top of that, Unai Emery knows his stuff, so yeah. Into the good part. I have got Spurs finishing 7th. Honestly, picking this top 7 is very, very difficult. But for me, Spurs haven't really made any outstanding signings, and they've got a new manager, so I feel like it's going to take a while for them to get going. But I could be wrong, and because they aren't playing any extra games this season, missing out on Europe, they could do good. Then you have Europa League. I have gone with Chelsea finishing 6th. This is due to a few factors. I think they've made some very good signings, but Nkunku is now rumoured to be out until basically next year. So they've not really got a proper striker, and though I just feel like they've got a few holes missing in the team. I do think they've got quality players, but it's just not clicked yet. And then finishing just above Chelsea is Newcastle, also getting Europa League. Some of you would probably put Liverpool in that spot instead, but I think Newcastle may be a better team than Liverpool at the moment. With them getting Champions League for the first time in however long, I think it's going to be a big part of the reason why they won't get it next year. So I do expect a little drop off, but I still think they'll do very well. Which then puts us into the top 4. And 4th is going to be my team, Liverpool. It pains me to do it. I think we will improve, especially if we get Lavia. And we would have had a whole new rebuild of Lavia, McAllister and Szoboszlai as our midfield. However, I still feel like we lack maybe one more midfielder and a defender. Then, unfortunately, I'm putting Man United just above Liverpool, only because I feel like their transfer window has basically plugged every hole they have. The likes of getting rid of De Gea for Onana, bringing in Mount, and then even bringing in a big striker like Højlund. There's still talk they're signing players like Todibo as well. I think they've made some of the best signings in the league. And because of that, unfortunately, I do think that means they will finish above us. And then I think we can guess the final 2. Arsenal above them, and then Man City as champions. But when I say Man City as champions, genuinely I think they'll run away with the league this year. Arsenal last year were very good away from home, which isn't usually how Arsenal perform. I know they've made a few decent signings like Timber, they look like they're signing David Raya, they've signed Havertz and big money Declan Rice. But I just don't see them getting to City's quality, considering Man City won the treble, have bought Gvardiol for, 70 odd million. They've bought Kovacic, and it looks like they could also be getting Lucas Paqueta from West Ham. But that is my Premier League predictions for this season. Let me know what you think of it in the comments. For me, I think the relegation zone is pretty bang on. I think even the top half of the table, most people would agree with. And then you're always going to get the odd mix-up match in the middle of the table. But yeah, let me know. But that has been it. I will come back to this next year, hopefully, and see how many I got right. But hope you have the rest of the day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and peace.